to YouTube, we set up a skill, we set up an automation, we set up a dashboard, we used some browser use, and now we have an actual system where every week it will pull in more comments, it will update our data, our Excel sheet, and then it pushes all of those changes to our actual live dashboard completely automatically. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that flow from. So Codex is an absolutely incredible super app. I've been using it a lot more lately, and I'm not saying that I'm ditching Claude Code. I still use them both regularly because they're both good at different things. So today's video, I'm going to break down every single important thing that you need to know about Codex to be able to, open up the app for the first time and then actually have finished automations and websites and whatever you want to do in Codex done by the end of this video. So whether you've never opened up the Codex app, which is what we're going to be using today for the entire video, it looks pretty much the exact same. We have projects on the left, we have chats on the left, and then we can talk to ChatGPT right here. We use this toggle to change the model, whether we want to use GPT 5.5, 5.4, or other models. We can change the speed, and then we can also change the intelligence. So low, medium, high, or extra high. And I'll get into this stuff a little bit later in more depth. And this is also very similar to the Claude Code desktop app, where we have the ability to chat with Claude right here. And then on the left-hand side, we can see our chats is a bit of a YouTube comment intelligence system. So we want to be able to pull in YouTube comments from my channel. We want to be able to have those be analyzed. We want a workbook in Excel. We want like some data visualization, and we want a dashboard that lives somewhere on the web so I could go check it on my phone if I'm out on a walk. And I'm going to show you how we ship and deploy all of that. So basically from zero to a working project is what I'm going to show you guys today. So let me go ahead and open up the Codex app and show you guys how this works. Now, real quick, what you have to do is have some sort of ChatGPT plan. The good news is if you're on free, you can still try, but I just want you to get us started here with a quick agents.md file. And now I'm going to go ahead and shoot that off. Now, why do we need to create an agents.md file? Well, if you're coming over from Claude Code, you know that we always want to start a project with a claude.md file. And this is just agents.md. It's the same thing, but Codex expects a different terminology. And what this agents file does, button, and I'm going to turn on plan mode. Plan mode is what I like to start with when I am creating some sort of plan. That basically means that Codex won't actually execute anything. It's just going to brainstorm and help you guys get clear on what you want to build before you actually build it. So I always start with plan mode. Now I'm just going to start yapping. And by the way, if you guys are curious about the tool plugins, MCP servers, skills, connectors, whatever you want to call them, we kind of have this interface inside of Codex to do stuff like this. And what you'll notice is there's a bunch of different plugins here. We've got Hugging Face, we've got Vercel, we've got GitHub, we've got Game Studio. We've got a bunch down here for design, Remotion, Figma, Hyperframes, Canva. We've got stuff for lifestyle, productivity, and this lets us basically connect to a lot of the tools that we already know and love. Google Drive, Slack, SharePoint, Teams, whatever you may need, a lot of that stuff is available here. And if you can't find it, you can go ahead and search. So like Slack, we have it right there. But look, if I search YouTube, there is no default plugin right here. And that's why I had to ask Codex is I want to show you guys that it's able to pull comments and that we're able to create an actual deliverable from it. So let me just once again go back to plan mode. All right, so what I want you to do is pull in, about 100 or 200 of my most recent comments, and I want you to analyze them. I want you to find patterns, and I want you to display all of this in a Excel sheet. And I want it to be a visual representation of this data that has, but then it also created the actual Excel sheet. So I'll open this up right here, and we can take a look. All right, so we have YouTube comment insights, 200 newest public comments across recent Nate Herk videos generated May 5th, 11 a.m. So we can see the question rate, the content requested rate, top mentioned tools, Claude Code. We've got high priority stuff. Let's talk about how do we turn this into a skill? So first of all, what is a skill? Well, a skill is basically a repeatable recipe. So if I come back in here and I click on plugins, we saw all these plugins, right? These are actual like connections and potentially MCP servers and kind of like exactly what we just did into a skill. So that anytime I say, hey, go give me more YouTube insights, it knows what endpoints to hit, it knows how to pull them in, it knows how to make the Excel sheet, it knows how to do all this. And the best way that I like to make skills is I just basically brainstorm with Codex to do something. And then after I get an output I like, I say, okay, sync this code base for this specific dashboard to a GitHub repository. So help me get that signed up, help me get connected here to GitHub. And then I want you to help me create that actual repo and push everything into that repo. And I can connect this to GitHub, and it already is connected. So you would then just sign in and you would connect your Vercel to GitHub. And now you can import any of your repos. So right here, you can see YouTube Analytics demo 1 minute ago. I'm going to click on import. And that's literally that simple. I'm going to click on deploy. And then in maybe 30 seconds, we will have, I want to set up an automation that just refreshes this every week. So let's just say every Sunday at 5 p.m., I want you to run the YouTube comments analytics skill. And then what I want you to do with that is update that data on that Excel sheet, add more rows, update the statistics, and that will automatically sync to the GitHub repo. So that when you look at the automation, this automation is set up by default to run with GPT 5.2, which obviously we don't want. So you're going to want to make sure that your model is set up correctly, that the reasoning is set up correctly, and all of this other stuff is set up correctly, because that is also a reason why that run was probably taking so long. Browser use skill and click around. I want you to click on the buttons. I want you to try to break this thing. I want you to stress test it and QA it, and let me know what you find, what bugs you find, and what we might need to improve. And so all I did here is I explained in natural language what I wanted, and we're going to be able to see it used. The YouTube, we set up a skill, we set up an automation, we set up a dashboard, we used some browser use, and now we have an actual system where every week it will pull in more comments, it will update our data, our Excel sheet, and then it pushes all of those changes to our actual live dashboard